Don't worry, it's still PvP. Okay, I don't know why I take so much guilty pleasure in that. What is going on again, Nerd Paraders? Thank you guys so much for coming back to hang out with me today. We're playing some more ARK Survival Evolved, but it is going to be the start of Season 6. Well, almost. It's right now Season 6 Hype Mode. This is Episode 0, where we're just wrapping up some of the testing that we've been doing on the Season 6 server. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about some of the changes that we made, as well as come at you with all the information that you could possibly handle. All that Season 6 hype. Choo-choo, get on the frickin' hype train. That's right. Season 6 is getting ready to launch today, actually. Season 6... Oh, there's a dude over there. There's a naked. Let's go hunt him down. Season 6 is kicking off today. This video is set to release August 25th, Friday, 2017. And we are going to be kicking off the season August 25th, 2017 at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time so that we have a full weekend of Season 6-ery to, well, keep us out of trouble. Or maybe get us into trouble. We'll see. Don't worry, it's still PvP. Okay, I don't know why I take so much guilty pleasure in that. I'm just a naked dude running around, clubbing people out. The server is currently open to anybody that wants to test out the new settings or anything. But we're going to talk about that today with you guys, just in case you didn't happen to catch the open beta phase, I guess we'll refer to it as, even though there's not really that much to be said. But I wanted to make sure that I give you all the information possible for your heart's content. I am Nick, guys. This is Nerd Parade. Welcome to the channel, and thank you so much for coming to hang out with us today. Now, you may have already noticed one of the minor changes that we've made, but let me point it out. Boop, that's stone. For some reason, stone doesn't work. I'll explain that in a second. Boop, wood. Okay, right above my dome there, 10x wood. Gather rate is 10x. It was 8x on the last season, it's 10x this season, so we bumped it ever so slightly, just a little, but just by 2. But for whatever reason on Ragnarok, loose stone, you only collect 5. I've never really figured that out. I don't know why, but it seems to be the state of things. But gather rate is 10x on the server for this season. And much like the season prior, Season 5, not much has been changed, but just in case you weren't aware of, both large crop plots and turrets have had their costs increased to compensate for the higher gather rate. So, same as last season. This isn't one of the big changes, but we're just talking about it since we bumped gather rate just ever so slightly by 2. So it might make for a little bit more quality of life, easier for people to get reestablished after a purge or something of that nature. And yes, it is true. It is going to be another purge-based season. I love the purge. It's so much fun for me. It gives people more of a chance to get rebuilt after a PvP battle or a raid or raid defense. It gives more people the opportunity to recover. And that's what I really like about the purge system. But this time around, we're going to be making a couple of small changes to that. And the reason behind these small changes is the sheer time frame of the purge. Now, last season we did the purge. It was every Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern. It's just 5 hours. It was a small window of time. Worked out great if you're in the United States, like I am, if you're on Eastern Standard Time, worked out fantastic. But for our friends in the EU, they were usually complaining like, hey, listen, this is in the middle of the night for me. We want to enjoy Purge too, but can we change the time frame? So we went ahead and completed that season, but we're keeping that in the back of our minds for this season. So what we're going to try to do, it's something still up in the air. We're still tinkering with the idea, but something along the lines of like maybe a PvP weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's purge rates, we'll say 2x damage or 1.5x damage with ORP enabled, so people can like log out and go to sleep if they need to. There will be a countdown, so combat logging isn't a thing, but we're trying to work out a way for our purge our purge enthusiasts, even those in other countries other than myself, that can enjoy it. So we're still tinkering on with some ideas. We're going to implement the best system. We've got about a week to go into it, because the first week that the server's up, there's going to be no purge. That way people can get their bases established and enjoy a little bit of the PvE aspect of building up so that we can have some fun raid battles. All the same as last season. This isn't really new, except for the potential of the new PvEness, PvPenis, the PvP weekends. So let me know in the comments what you guys would like to see. Do you dig the idea of a PvP weekend? Would you just like to see longer hours for the Purge? Let me know. Give me some feedback because we're tinkering around with a lot of ideas there, and we do want to make it so everybody can enjoy the Purge because that is one of the biggest reasons to play on this Nerd Parade server. And since we're talking about that, if you guys aren't part of the community yet, there's links in the description below me, as well as links to join the server if you're curious. How do I join? Follow the links in the description. There's the Nerd Parade Community Discord, as well as the Nerd Parade Community Forums. Both are loaded with information, and that is the way to actually get in contact with either myself or any of the Nerd Parade community leaders on those two wealths of knowledge and information. So be sure to check it out. I think I've rambled enough about actually the settings and things of that nature. Some of the changes, one of the big changes, and this, we've been taking kind of votes here and there, and straw polls, etc., and we've gotten a lot of feedback, and one of the biggest things is the unnerfing of move speed on the Nerd Parade servers. So, bing, there you have it. It's not super buffed, but it has been unnerfed to the point where people can enjoy a little bit of move speed now. We initially had nerfed it because of the C4 on people meta running into turrets and then suiciding. So since that's more or less been toned down a little bit, I think it's time for move speed to make a little bit of a comeback. I personally love move speed. It's awesome, but we had to make the sacrifice for the greater good. So in Season 6, you will see a small revival of move speed on your character, so you'll be able to enjoy chasing down your prey, or maybe escaping from them, depending on which side of the receiving or giving end that you happen to be on. Speaking of other votes that we have taken, there was a massive vote that we initiated into the Nerd Parade Community Discord. Again, if you want to participate in some of these votes, come join in all the fun. But that's where we usually do our blasts of information. We did another vote. It was a pretty large straw poll, and it was the status of Griffins. The Griffins have been a big source of controversy, especially last season, meaning Season 5. There were people that loved Griffins, and there were people that absolutely hated Griffins because it was just the same thing. Right, a Griffin, dive bomb, dive bomb, dive bomb, and then people were getting really upset. Not to mention the fact that Griffins actually moved faster than turrets could track, so that they were never really getting shot by turrets, or they weren't dying to turrets, and people were getting upset. So the poll was raised, keep Griffins or remove them. It actually passed with around 200 votes and 90%. It was astounding to remove Griffins for Season 6. So although we are on Ragnarok, there will not be any Griffins this season. So I'm actually kind of okay with it. It takes us more back to our PvP roots. So no Griffins, Wyverns are still enabled, Pteranodons, Tepaharas, Argents, all that stuff, all still enabled, but no more Griffin-based PvP. So we're going back to our roots a little bit. And I know there's going to be questions about Tech Tier. Again, Tech Tier was not in Season 5. It will not be in Season 6 either. So no Tech Tier and no Griffins for this season. We're saving that Tech Tier for Future Evolved, which we're still actively working on, and we're trying to get updates out very soon. I'm excited for Future Evolved to make a bit of a comeback, but it will be a separate entity from our Season 6, and we'll have a Season 2 of Future Evolved. If you're still curious of what has happened to Future Evolved, don't worry, it's still there. We're just working on it, and it's a slow process because mod development, which I'm finding out the hard way, and with Blitz's continued help, Megalani is making me nervous. We're still working on it, and it will still be a thing. We're going to be launching up a second server for Future Evolved when that is ready and upcoming. There's one final change that we're going to talk about here. Let me see if I can actually do it. Let's go into our engrams. Let's on our foundation. Let's craft a foundation. Let's craft a couple foundations. And let's craft a remote. That is not it. Building helper is what it's called. Okay, as we craft this up, we're going to this is probably the biggest change of the season. And it's something that came with a lot of recommendation, mostly because of the... You probably know where I'm going with at this point. Mostly because of the love of a certain mod, S+. Now, we have turned off collision. It has been unchecked, so you can actually build some pretty darn cool bases this season. You're going to be able to build into, into landscape, kind of like what I'm doing here. I made the demo remote so I could do this and wouldn't have to build that many foundations. There you go. Foundation, well, not only foundation, but structure clipping has been taken off. I don't feel like it's going to be crazy breaking the game due to the effects of the purge. So since we increase damage for the purge, it's not like you're going to be able to build a crazy unraidable base. So we thought we'd roll with it. It changes things up a little bit. It adds a little bit of a new angle to contend with when we're raiding or raid defense. It's going to be pretty neat, and I'm kind of excited to roll with it. I'm actually pretty excited in general for the season to start. So this is what we're going to be rolling with. And in before somebody says, why don't you just use S+? We've already used a cocktail of mods. And last season we had a lot of issues with server desync and things of that nature. We're trying to minimize that at every turn. So adding more mods is not something that we're really going to be doing anymore at this point. Even though there's hundreds and hundreds of great mods out there, we have quite a few, and we're just going to try to minimize the amount of mod impact that we have overall, just to keep the server as healthy as possible. And if there's ever any questions, I mean, I know this has come up quite a bit, but admin command logging is enabled at all times, always, on all Nerd Parade servers. So if you're ever worried about anything like that, any admin commands coming up, you will see a giant broadcast if something is put in. Many people on the server now can attest, like anytime a dino gets painted or anything, it's like, oh great, here's the chat spam again. But it is there for a reason, and it has always and will always continue to be on. I think that covers pretty much all the changes, even though minor, some of them kind of more interesting. The biggest ones being the griffins, the move speed, and the no clipping of structures. But this does cover all of the changes that we're making in Season 6, and I'm excited to get it kicked off. I hope you guys are on that hype train with me. It's launching 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, or if you're watching this video later than August 25th, 2017, that's when it launched. So get ready for a full weekend of Season 6 Nerd Parade action. And I hope to see you guys on the server. Remember, link below me for all the information. And please remember to take care of yourselves and stay awesome. We'll catch you on the server, Nerd Paraders. Later.